Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I have day 17 of the Artist Trading Card a Day 2020 challenge. That's hashtag ATCAD2020, that you can use that hashtag anywhere on social media and we can find your art. This is an event brought to you by Art Joy of Sharing art community on Facebook, as well as the Art Joy of Sharing live stream channel that Peg Robinson and I do together. So people have been doing fabulous. There's like over 250 photos in the art community. There's tons more on Instagram in the hashtag. You type in that hashtag and you'll find them. Lots of people doing the ATCs. It's really fun. I've been able to keep up, and so has Peg. So despite our challenges with our families and things, we've been doing really well. It's been helping everybody just get into the mood of doing creativity for the summer, and also to help us with our quarantining and all that stuff, quarantine exhaustion and everything. So someone asked me to do a patriotic card, and so I decided to grab this plastic box of little magazine stuff that I have, and there was some things from I think they're mostly from like catalogs and things that I just little images. I know that they're going to be good for this size, or a tag or something like that, something small. And I have a little basket, and I grabbed out a few different things that I found in there. Also, I have a hang tag from a piece of clothing. It says Levi's on it, and that happened to be in there. I'm not sure why. My organization is not great. And I just found that, and I thought, oh, that would be really fun to put that on an ATC, to have a little tiny tag on an ATC. So I took that Levi's tag, and the first thing I did was I covered it with a piece of map, because I was thinking about our country. I was thinking about the whole of our country and how special it is. I was thinking about all the problems that we're having. I read this really depressing article about this guy who predicted the civil unrest that we were going to have in 2020 10 years ago by just apparently there's an algorithm that's just, uh, our situations in the United States seem to go up and down, and he had a lot of data, and he put the data in. That's his job as social anthropologist or something like that. Anyway, some type of a guy that does data. And I didn't like to know that we were that predictable. He's not gloating about it or anything, but um, yeah, apparently we're as humans, and in particular our country. He studies our country. We're predictable, I guess. So just all this stuff is going on. 2020 is just blah. Everything with the pandemic and the social unrest and anyway, I just wanted to celebrate my country. I know a lot of you that watch my channel are not from the United States, so this card might not appeal to you at all. But of course, we have the American flag. Um, that these couple that I have here were from like a catalog where you can buy stuff. So in reality, the thing itself would be much larger. And the one that I put on top is kind of cool. I think it's probably on wood, and it's been weathered. It's the flag has been painted on there and then weathered, and it looks kind of Americana, kind of uh, distressed in like our good old flag. So I put that at the top of the card. I wasn't sure if I was going to use anything that's actually the paint that's on this card, and I didn't actually. I covered it completely up. Um, it is blue, and I thought maybe some of it would show through, but it didn't end up doing that. So then I'm working on the hang tag here. Um, I had a piece of napkin, and I think it had the other part of the napkin had some little houses on it, which I used on another product. But this product, another piece. But this section that was left is it says home sweet home, sweet home, sweet home in a line. And so I used some water in a water brush to separate that and just use the words, and putting the words down in a vertical way on my little hang tag. The tag is going to end up being kind of the focal image, sort of, on the ATC. And so I wanted to make it interesting and multi-layered. There's also a little star down at the bottom. We consider stars and stripes to be an integral part of Americana here in the United States. And it says 1 in a million and it has a little star on it. It is actually a piece of jewelry and a picture of a piece like a pendant, like a silver pendant with a little diamond in it that says 1 in a million. I cut that out and I put that on the bottom of the tag because, there's more than a million people in our country, but I'm one of them and I'm proud of my country despite of its challenges. And so I wanted to put that on there. Just seemed appropriate. And also it gives another dimension to the tag. I've got the map of the United States, then I've got the star and the words that say home sweet home on them. And so this little thing that I'm gluing on now at the bottom is another piece of what we call Americana folk art. It's a thing, and it kind of looks like a quilt block, but I think it's probably made out of wood. And it has some of that bandana pattern that's kind of harks back to the days when people carried their lunch to school or work in a bandana tied on a stick, that all that type of good old stuff that we think about, legends and stories and folk things that we learn about as children in the United States. So I liked that. I put that down. And then I'm using the rest of this home sweet home napkin piece across there in the place where there's a line. Unfortunately, at the end, there's not. You can't really see the word "sweet" anywhere. is The saying is "home sweet home," and the word "sweet" kind of got lost, but you get the idea anyway. So then I still had one little section of that blue, and I wasn't sure when I put the tag on there, was it going to cover it? What was I going to do? And I ended up using the other flag thing, which is again out of an ad of like some type of a magazine that sells little things like that. And it's strange because it's designed to hang vertically, which isn't really the way I would ever hang my flag, but I'm sure it's made out of wood too, and it's something that you can hang on the outside of your house or in your backyard or something. 4th of July is our holiday, and it's coming up soon. That's probably the reason that somebody asked me to make a patriotic thing. But I ended up using part of that piece as well, just to cover up the rest of the weird bluish color on. It just wasn't the right color. It was more like a purple blue that was on the card. So this actually is made out of a pretty thin cardstock. It's like a glossy cardstock that I had been gel printing on, and I found these and thought I'd throw them in the bucket with the rest of my ATC backs that I have. I ended up cutting off the bottom of the tag a little bit to make it fit better. It was longer. Well, I guess I didn't do it yet. I do it when I put the ribbon on. But anyway, I've kind of got that look going. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. This little scrap had a globe on it, and I thought that might be kind of interesting as a round shape, thinking about my country within the world. And so I thought that would be a good thing to put on there. So I put that on top of the little star that says 1 in a million. And gave it a little bit more balance because there's this dark spot where the stars are up on the left hand side. It needed more something, darker. I do have that other darker star area, but then it kind of gets covered up by the tag, and so I was trying to find balance in my composition here. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you are, please remember to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, subscribe if you haven't already. I've really been having a video every day this entire month, which was not originally my intention, but yeah, it's been kind of fun. I did put some fluid matte medium over my card to seal everything in. These are little thin magazine bits, and they are, if you get water on it, it's going to tear and run. They're thin. They're kind of annoying, really. Magazine pieces for collage are kind of annoying. They want to bubble. So as as a result of that, you will see something that happens, which ends up becoming an opportunity. But you need to let that dry. And I don't have patience. I want to get this done. I don't want to stop what I'm doing and wait for things to dry. And I did use the heat tool to dry that matte medium, but it was still tacky. And I probably have some on my fingers. And I have some glue on my fingers because now I'm gluing this down to a navy blue piece of card because I decided that I would like it to have a frame. So I trimmed it down a little bit and put it on a 3.5 by 2.5 inch cut piece of cardstock, which is a navy blue color. I think that looks better having a frame around it because it's kind of patchy. It's kind of mosaic like. It's got pieces and parts. And I just having that dark blue around the edge seems to make it more like it was intentional, you know. I'm also using some dark blue ink. This is a Stampin' Up! Ink pad that is Night of Navy color, which I thought was appropriate, navy blue. So you see right there, there's now a little white spot on my globe. That's because the matte medium was still tacky, plus I probably had a little bit of tacky glue on my finger. When I put my thumb down on the tag, it lifted up the paper. This is the type of stuff that happens when you are impatient and you don't wait for things to dry. So now I have this big white torn off spot on my tag, but it ends up being an opportunity. So I ended up thinking of a fun way to add to the whole composition as well as cover up that little boo-boo. So now I'm putting some ribbon through the hole in the tag. I punched the hole with a little tiny hole punch. And then this ribbon is a grosgrain ribbon that then has some thread stitched through it. So it makes me think of folk art and Americana type stuff. I did want the tag to be a little bit shorter, so I cut a piece off the bottom, and then I'm having to add the blue ink to it again to make the edge. The edge, of course, is going to be white if you don't cover it up with something. So ink is a good idea. If I had an archival ink pad that was that color, a dark blue, I would have used it. These are dye-based pads, the Stampin' Up! Ones, so they're not water permanent, you know, like archival. So I don't usually use them anymore much. I used to stamp a lot. I used to do rubber stamping and make cards and things, and that's the reason that I have tons of those ink pads. But I end up gluing down my little hang tag, leaving one row of the stars down at the bottom for balance. And then I think that looks pretty good. It just needs a little bit of something, you know, like it always does. So I do want to cover up that big spot. And so I get out some gold and copper and silver leafing flakes, and I put some glue down over the area that is the torn paper, which got even bigger because I tore another piece of it off when my finger was on there. Not good, people, not good. And then I take some tweezers, some plastic tweezers, and I put down some silver and then some gold and then copper of this flake, and it actually turns out really cool. It covers an area of where there is a continent kind of on that one side. I think it looks neat. Maybe it detracts from the globe. I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. I think it just looks neat. So that solves my problem on that side. Now that I'm looking at it closer, I think I could go in with that same blue pen and just kind of fill in a few spots there, and it might look even more like a continent. I'm just now noticing this as I'm editing the video, so it's too late to show it on the video. But I think in the close-ups you might be able to see there's a couple spots where I could go in and just add some of that navy blue marker that I'm using right now. That's a Faber-Castell Artist Pitt pen, and it's a real, you know, the dark blue This is an India ink, and it just, you have a few seconds to kind of blend it before it's dry. And sometimes I do that with my finger, and I started with my finger, because this is a sealed surface. I put that matte medium over it, remember? But it looks even better, I think, when you blend it out with a water brush, because you have a few seconds to do that. And I think that the way that it blends with the water brush makes me more happy. So I get out the water brush and I start blending it with that. I go all the way around the outside of the tag um, to kind of make it stand out from the background. And then, because I've trimmed the bottom of the tag and kind of cut a little bit of the star off at the bottom, now it doesn't look balanced, right? It's got two heavy things at the bottom, and then there's this space up at the top. And as I'm doing my shadowing and everything, I'm thinking about that, saying, I don't like that. I do put some Stickles diamond on the little diamond at the bottom to make it sparkly, and I end up using some of that in a minute as well. But I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And then I thought, what it needs something in that space above the globe. And what better thing to put on there than a heart? Because this is about my love of my country, and a heart. Heart means love, right? I love the world. I love my country. I'm one in a million people who do, despite our problems. So I get a little piece of paper that has some red paint on it, and I cut a little tiny heart out and put it on top of the globe, glue it down, and then that's now a lot more balanced to me. Um, some might say that's not balanced still, but I think it looks a lot better. So I do shadows around that heart with that same navy blue pen. And then I think the only other thing I do is I add a little bit of that diamond glitter glue, the Stickles, to the heart. And then off camera, I end up adding some of those, adding a few little dots of the diamond glitter glue up onto the stars up at the top. And not every single star, but some of them, and it turns out looking pretty cool. So there's a little boomerang video right now. You might be able to see it. But thanks for watching. That's it for me for today. Bye-bye.